You're very welcome along to the two-man wall, and what a game we have in store this weekend on Sunday evening. It's Manchester City hosting Liverpool, 20 to 21, a shade of odds on Manchester City. One of the biggest prices that they've been in a home game probably for some time in the league, really, on the back of Liverpool's brilliant performance in Atlanta last night. I'm joined by Adam Russell, and Adam, this is a match to savour and should give us some sort of clarity in terms of who, if anyone, is going to win the Premier League this season.
Yeah, I think someone will probably win it.
We're not talking about a US election here.
I was going to say that maybe we'll get the result to this game before we get a clear result in the US election. But yeah, that's beside the point. It's two heavyweights of the UK taking it on this week. Obviously, it's going to be. It feels like a big game, really, doesn't it? I think Liverpool have got a 5-point lead over City at the minute, so win for them gives them an 8-point lead over them, even though it is an early stage. You'd say that puts them in pole position to go on and win the league, really. But what an impact Diogo Jota's had in the last.
He was sensational last night.
He was unplayable last night. He was like a different player to the one that we saw at Wolves. It was. Mark, I still don't think that he'll come in and replace Firmino on Saturday. We know how much faith Jurgen Klopp has got in Firmino. I'm pretty sure no player. I think it's Firmino's played more games under Klopp than anyone else, even sort of the likes of Henderson. So
that is a big call, Adam. That is a big call. I think he has a really tough call to make here.
Yeah, I think if it wasn't Man City, I think he probably would have gone with Jota. But with it being Man City, I think he'll stick with Firmino. We've seen in the past the way that front three are able to harass Man City's defence, and it has caused them problems. Maybe not so much at the Etihad, but certainly in the games at Anfield and in the Champions League that we've seen that Firmino's pressing can really cause City's backline trouble. So I do think he'll stick with Firmino, who's, by the way, is 23-10 to score any time, if anyone's interested. That's not a tip, it's just merely an observation. But I've got a feeling on this one, Johnny. Sometimes you get a feeling.
You got a hunch.
I saw the 2-2 draw, 28-1. I know it's a bit specific, but I've got a feeling. A draw is an excellent result for Liverpool. They maintain their advantage, live to fight another day. A point at the Etihad is always a good result. But I just saw 2-2, 28-1, and it just gave me that feeling in the gut. The same gut feeling I had when I said that Donald Trump might win the election.
Wow. Yeah, you were in clover when you went to bed. Not so much now, though.
Yeah, I tried to. I was going to gloat about it to you on Twitter at one point, but I decided to keep my mouth shut and hold on for a bit. And it looks like that was the right decision anyway. But
well, this is it, and it should be pointed out as well that Thiago, I would imagine, will probably be available for Liverpool, which will be a massive boost to their chances of taking on the Man City team that just hasn't been convincing in the league. But it apart from there not being a crowd at the game, it's going to be an absolute cracker. I want to ask you about Tottenham because the league itself, it just what's that?
It's not going to be easy for Liverpool though, Bam. And I think two out of the last 4 visits, they lost 4-0 there, and they lost 5-0 there, and they haven't won there since November 2015, when you might remember they ran right there in the first half, and they were 3-0 up in the first half, and they went on to win.
Yeah, I'd exonerate them the defeat at the end of last season when I don't think they were really too pushed.
I can't look past the draw, to be honest with you. I'm sticking 31-10 the draw at the minute, which I think it's pretty good. Man City, like you said, 20-21. Liverpool 23-10. I think the value's in the draw this week.
Earlier on Sunday, at the quite frankly immoral time of 12 noon, West Brom host Tottenham Hotspur. Now, Spurs are 1-2 here. Simple question for you, Adam. This doesn't really look like a formality in terms of the top two being the top two as we would have expected at the start of the season. Do Spurs have a chance of winning the league under Mourinho?
Well, we know that they've moved in the market. They're third favourites at 13-2 now to win the Premier League. And that's obviously the value selection now in the market. You look at City at 5-4, Liverpool 15-8. There's not a great deal of value to be had there. What interested me about Spurs is against Brighton at the weekend. It was arguably the worst I've seen them play this year, but they came away with the win. Now, obviously, their position in the table, you've got to ask the question, are they title contenders? What's going to be key is obviously they've got West Brom at the weekend, as you say, but in their next 7 games, they've got to play Man City, Chelsea, Arsenal, Leicester, and Liverpool all in the next 7 games. So I think at the end of that run, that's going to be a good time for us to look at it, assess where Tottenham are, and then we can probably say whether or not they will be able to mount a challenge. What's obviously going to be the major key for them is having 2 fit and firing strikers in Kane and Son, who are going to score you enough goals to potentially catapult you towards a league title charge. But again, we've seen with Tottenham teams in the past, it's about consistency. Can they keep it going over the course of a season? We saw under Pochettino that they sort of threatened, but never really consistent enough to go on and mount a challenge. So that's obviously going to be the test for them. But as we've seen already this season, how consistent is everyone else going to be?
Well, consistency isn't something that you would attach to Manchester United at the moment. Didn't see the game against Arsenal, but by all accounts, it wasn't great. A lot of people were moaning to me about Pogba on the old WhatsApp. And, it seems to be one step forward, 1 or 2 steps back with Man United a lot of the time. But fascinating game against Everton, who obviously had a bit of a wobble last weekend as well.
Yeah, it's a bit feast and famine for United. Obviously, they've done well in Europe and whatnot, but then they've staggered at home, and it must be difficult. I think we've talked about what it's like to play behind closed doors, but in being in such a big, fearsome stadium as Old Trafford is, with nobody there and the echo, and you've got to think that the intensity will probably come out of your game a little bit. So potentially that's an issue to them. Obviously, one to keep an eye on is obviously whenever United are in these kind of positions, we talk about, will the manager go, will he not? Obviously, Pochettino was in the press a lot this week after his appearance on Sky Sports. Solskjaer's the current second favourite in our next manager to leave market, with Slaven Bilic 6-5 favourite. You probably expect that to shorten if they lose on Saturday, especially with the international break on the horizon, and it's the fashionable period to get rid of managers, isn't it? So it could be a dangerous one for him. With defeat for United could leave them feasibly 1 point above the relegation zone.
Wow. Well, they're 33s to win the league. Arsenal are 28. 13-2 Tottenham, which is,
look at those odds. They're not going to win the league.
Yeah, 13-2 Tottenham has obviously been that's been the move. Where Chelsea are 11s, and even for a top 4 finish, Man United are comfortably odds against that 15-8. Anything else we should be looking out for this weekend?
Well, we better pick some out for that Everton United game. Everton have. I think they've only got 1 Premier League win over United in the last 5 years, but they're actually unbeaten in the last 3. They haven't kept a clean sheet in the league this season, which is I think what United need, because they've been a bit stagnant in the Chelsea and the Arsenal game. I fancy Everton. I think Everton to win and under 2.5 goals is a decent bet this weekend. It's 21-4, at the minute. And the guys at Star Sports will kill me if I don't build a bet. So I'll give you Everton to win, both teams to score, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin to score anytime is available 18-1 with Star Sports build a bet tool.
And I suppose we should end up by just saying Biden does win, doesn't he?
I mean, that's certainly how it looks at this stage. But I was doing the coverage last night, and the markets are so volatile at the minute that it's
unbelievable.
It's hard to see, but I mean, even if Biden is able to declare a win, it seems like this is going to end up in court in a few places, and we're going to have some recounts. So maybe check in this time next week and see what the progress is, maybe.
And listen to Adam. Have a bet in the football this weekend, because you will be paid after the match if the bet actually comes off. That was the 2-man wall. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you, Johnny.